we are issuing an immediate emergency security advisory for CVE 2025-29635. The compromised targets are D-Link DIR-823X routers running firmware versions 240126 and 240802. This hardware has reached end-of-life status. The vendor has officially abandoned these devices, meaning a security patch to close this hole will never be written or issued. A critical zero-day exploit, combined with unsupported hardware, leaves you with a permanent, unpluggable vulnerability on your network perimeter. It demands immediate architectural intervention. Before we analyze the exploit, initiate the secure communication link sequence. Hit subscribe to @cybertech79 to maintain a secure encrypted feed for incoming threat intelligence. Execute a like on this briefing to serve as your formal operational acknowledgement that you have received the data. Finally, drop a status report in the comments. Confirm whether your perimeters are currently exposed to this CVE or if the hardware has already been decommissioned and replaced. Real-time intelligence distribution, combined with community census reporting, is our first line of defense against an expanding zero-day blast radius. Let's dig into the code. The technical root cause of this breach is a command injection vulnerability, officially classified as CWE77. We zoom past outer defenses into the affected router node. The exact flaw sits at b/goform/set prohibiting endpoint. A crafted HTTP post request bypasses broken input logic, dropping arbitrary commands into the core loop. This executes with highest privileges, granting full remote code execution. The adversary gains cascading capabilities. They silently intercept your network traffic, modify internal configurations, and use the device to pivot deeper into your private environment. Exploiting this endpoint transforms a device built to defend your perimeter into a fully compromised beachhead for the enemy. We trace this threat to March 2025, when the initial proof of concept was published to the GitHub advisory database. This chart tracks the Exploit Prediction Scoring System, or EPSS. You see a measurable rising probability throughout March 2025. The theoretical window closed quickly in April 2026, when we recorded a massive surge of active in-the-wild exploitation tearing through networks globally. The volume of attacks forced a federal response. On April 24, 2026, CISA added this flaw to the KEV catalog. An unreviewed advisory mutated into a mandated federal emergency in 13 months, proving the terrifying velocity of modern exploit weaponization. This map visualizes the primary automated adversary sweeping the internet, the Mirai Batnet, operating via the Tux-Not-Kill malware variant. Mirai actively scans for these specific unpatched endpoints, compromises them, and forces the hardware to join its swarm to execute massive distributed denial-of-service attacks. But we are also tracking advanced persistent threats. The nation-state linked group, Tropic Trooper, has directly integrated this exploit into their arsenal. Tropic Trooper targets these exact D-Link edge devices to establish a supply chain pivot. They use the routers as stepping stones to breach Japanese ISPs, government contractors, and critical infrastructure providers. Furthermore, threat intelligence connects the exploitation of these specific routers directly to recent Dragon Force ransomware operations. This is an active crisis fueling indiscriminate global botnets and highly targeted nation-state extortion campaigns simultaneously. Because the D-Link DIR-823X is end-of-life, software patching is an absolute impossibility. Waiting for an update will leave you compromised. Therefore, the primary operational mandate is the immediate physical removal and the complete replacement of this vulnerable hardware. CISA has underscored the severity of this requirement by setting a strict federal deadline of May 8, 2026 for total hardware decommissioning. When a vendor permanently abandons their hardware, your only viable network defense is complete architectural amputation. If you are managing an enterprise environment, we understand that hardware procurement takes time, requiring tactical stopgaps in the interim. Your first defense directive: implement strict firewall rules, dropping all inbound WAN traffic attempting to reach the router's web interface. You must verify that all remote administration and management features are completely disabled over the external network. Next, enforce strict network segmentation. Isolate the vulnerable router from critical internal assets so it cannot be a bridgehead. Finally, deploy active traffic monitoring. Hunt specifically for anomalous post requests hitting that web endpoint and flag outbound command and control communications. Until you physically destroy the hardware, you must operate under absolute zero trust, boxing the compromised asset into a digital quarantine. Coordinated vulnerability disclosure is an ethical necessity, especially with unpatchable EOL edge threats, where the manufacturer offers no safety net. Modern network defenders require asymmetric visibility to survive in an ecosystem where vendors routinely abandon perimeter hardware. In a landscape defined by abandoned defenses, proactive intelligence gathering and decisive architectural action are our only true security.